Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Let me get my mic. I gotta set my microphone up. My microphone off. Hold up, y'all. The way I got my microphone set up. All right, we should be good. Okay, that's good. First, disclaimer: first use, education purpose use only. All rights, image, and music respect the owner, and we do not claim ownership. Man, why my mic trying to trip? Hold up. We good now, gang? We good? All right. Man, I'ma just get down to the bottom of this Kenneka Jenkins case. Cause I've been seeing some people out there, you know what I'm saying, got her name in their mouth, but still going on with the conspiracy theory. So check this out. Let's get to it. I want to go to my live cam right here. And I want everybody to focus on the timestamp. They game prove to y'all. Look at 113. Look what's on the footage. And when you look at the paperwork, off the rip, we finna bust Miss Teresa up. So they said on right here, number 9, on September the 9th at 113, Kenneka entered the Crown Plaza as a guest. Watch this. She entered the hotel. They ain't even say what door she came in, the back or the front. You know what I'm saying? They just really left that out in the court paper, but told you, oh, she supposed to came in from the back door. But look, if you look at this at 113, what y'all finna see at 113? And they said she gonna be coherent and without incident. Meaning that when they go back to the autopsy report, you cannot believe now that she was drugged and somebody put something in her drink. That was all made up. That was all made up. But they telling you right here, she entered the hotel at 113. Boom, watch this. You got security on the move at 113. Bow. Watch this at 113. Look what you finna see. And remember 54 keys narrative about balls. This how you know they knew to throw everybody off. So look at 113. Kenneka gonna be arriving there. Look who will be coming in the back door with Kenneka. Gang them, right? Y'all see these dudes that's gang them. So that means Kenneka showed up. With who? Let me break it down a little more. I can show y'all this right quick. Hold up. I just want to show y'all this right quick, and I'm finna give y'all a mean timeline. Alright, right here. At 113. This ain't at 113 what they want us to believe. Cause you seeing the hit unfold on the surveillance footage. We know this, know what I'm saying? Watch this. Let me scroll down to who you see up under that camera. Let's go to 3. Y'all see this at 113? So that means Kenneka will be with her brother, Kenny Jenkins. You see that, gang? Don't that make sense that her brother would be coming in the back door and she would be coming to the front door? And you see why Friends K will be on the move at 117 and bam, you got what? Kenneka in the lobby. Hey y'all, appreciate the super chat. Appreciate it. And you know, I'ma stay dedicated, you know, to the Kenneka GK, man, cause that's why we all here. Cause we wanna know. And Trey Gang is the only person that could be, man, look what's on their footage. That explains why the security will be on the move. If you want to think about organ harvesting and setting somebody up, this the real setup when they come to the hotel. Damn, you got the security. Look, watch how everybody look. Kenneka finna make it there. That's why everybody will be showing up a couple of minutes before Kenneka did. Oh, and who is gonna be in the lobby? Check this out. Bree gonna leave with the keys at 12 some. And look, going on 1 o'clock. This what you see. What y'all see at 1 o'clock? Do you see what you see at 1 o'clock, right? Family, friends, Leonora now. Guess who would still be in the room? Peace, Killer, Monifa, Irene, but Kenneka ain't in that fucking room. She not in that room at that time, cause soon as you go on 1 o'clock, that's why if you look at the phone record, that's why I'm like, oh look, they preparing it. You got employees in the kitchen. You got Friends K came from the kitchen. You got Boom Boom living over them finna dip out with the gang them with the girl while the dudes show up. So while the dudes show up in the room, they said one something. Bam, bam, bam. That's why living over. That's why the news at living over. Hey, we know last contact you had with your sister at one something. You know what I'm saying? Cause we know the text message read, but look what her sister would be doing exactly at 104. Well, depicting that time at 104. Now, this to show you the whole setup that everybody's on the footage working with the staff member, and then Kenneka showed up. While Kenneka showing up in the lobby, you got her brother here. Her brother's in the lobby, and she in her brother in the food court hall, and Kenneka in the lobby. You see that? Look, watch this. Watch this. Boom. Man, them folk were busting the move on the cameras. No wonder why you had to show this stuff in sequence. Kaboom. While they was coming in, this just to show you prove that, hey, man, Kenneka had to ride with her brother. At the hotel, she come to the front door, he come through the back door, then you got Friends Cave on the move, and then you got the girl coming in with the son, and that's the girl that's finna be walking with the dude with the gray hoodie. He gonna drop her off her to go check in the hotel. Boom, then Kenneka, oh, and check this out. Kenneka came in with these people, bruh, with the gray hoodie. All this going down at one song. Check this out. Do y'all remember when Scrape dropped them, all those YouTubers that had something to do with the Kenneka Jenkins case? When that footage came out, guess what they were like? Ooh, this little boy been in the pool area. Why would they say this little boy would be in the pool area and got a pool floating device around his neck? Right? It was a big argument about that on YouTube because they linked these people back to the pool, but the whole time they connected to the pool and she came in with a dude. She came in with gray hood. Look, watch this. Check this out. Once she go, look, she finna go wherever she finna go to in the room. Bam, watch this. Now check this out. This gonna be the best friend. This will be going down at one song. But let's hold off on this footage for a minute. Right? Let's just hold off on this footage. Cause I'ma say, let's say this was actually 3 o'clock when the best friend was playing the role, and you're gonna see why they're gonna make sense later on in the live, right? But all of this at one sum. It's easy to have all of this going on at one sum, and then you would show this at 3 sum, right? And then and change all of this to one sum. Cause look what they would be hiding at one sum. Kenneka in the lobby with her phone. So the whole time the girl did have her phone at one sum, contacting who? Her sister. Her sister. And y'all remember when Miss Teresa said she got the call, right? So if we prove that the timestamp off 2 hours and this showing 1 o'clock, thumb me up right now. Thumb me up right now. Cause this finna make sense. This finna make a whole lot of sense. Cause if you agree, if this at 1 o'clock and this what you seeing, family activity on the camera at a Crown Plaza hotel on footage, busting the move, and these people is connected with the staff. Watch this. If you agree with that, you got to agree when Miss Teresa said she got the call at 4:34. What? If Miss Teresa said she got the call at 4:34, right? And if you knock 2 hours off, off the footage and go back to this, that's why they said, look, Kenneka left the room. Hold on, not this one. Hold on, not this one. Let me go to this one. If you knock 2 hours off the footage, don't this tell you what time Miss Teresa showed up at the hotel instead of 4:34 when she got the call? But look what time she would be talking to the hotel staff and employees about checking the cameras. So this would be exactly at 2:30 that Miss Teresa would be at the hotel looking for Kenneka. So that means Miss Teresa knew the timestamp was off 2 hours, and they agreed with the police to go with this timestamp and agreed to change the timestamp so they could fit everybody's narrative while everybody will be on the footage at one song. So even in the police report, they said Kenneka walked in the hotel at 1:13. If you believe this Kenneka, or you believe this Kenneka, at 1:13, that's a difference. You see that? That's a big difference. So you basically trying to cover up for this. You see what I'm saying? This the real setup that will be going on at one song, right? If you want to change the narrative, change when she actually came in the hotel. That's why Miss Teresa didn't want to go along with their narrative. But like, look, just say she left your house at 11:30. You know what I'm saying? Well, this is 11:13 right here. It wouldn't make sense that if you showing this at 1:14 in the near future, you think a lot can't get exposed and figure out, well, that's the real Kenneka, because she always kept her jacket zipped. But for some strange reason, her hair done, and it's in another hairstyle. So now look. So when they go back to Tucson, right? When they go back to Tucson, check this out. Why y'all think when Miss Teresa said, I believe those little boys told me what happened to her, which, matter of fact, then the lawyer said when Kenneka came up missing, Miss Teresa would notify immediately staff members. Everybody would notify at 2:30. But look, an hour before that, you got to set up on the footage an hour before that. So when Miss Teresa got the call, just think about just like what King Rob said, man, look, you know what I'm saying? They were going down there Tucson. So when King Rob was telling everybody what was going down there Tucson, Irene come with the video. Nah, they was still in the room. Why would Irene and Leonora want everybody to believe she would still be in the room at Tucson? Cause look what this showed. Kenneka would be, so she had to come with her brother now. She came with her brother and she knew her sister and them was there. She knew her whole folks were gonna be there. We don't even know if this her real boyfriend. To be honest with you, this could be her man, her nigga or something. So look, they finna go in the parking lot. Look at what time they would be going in the parking lot. Exactly 1:17. So look, exactly 1:17, right? Look how everything finna play out on the footage. Now the girl is in the parking lot. They said one song. Think about what Miss Teresa said. And Leonora said, well, I know she left the house at 11:30. Cause that's what the police want to go along with. Boom, show her she was last coming out the house at 11 some. And then, you know, everybody showing up at the hotel cause they're gonna match up. Yeah, they were going, they was getting her at 1 some. In reality, that's when everybody else was showing up at 11 some. So you could just look at this like this here. At 11 some, the family came in their hotel room with family and friends. And they all would be waiting on Kenneka to show up because she's going to show up with her brother. So that means Leonora was in the lobby waiting on Kenneka and her brother, bro. And remember the 911 call when Miss Teresa said, yeah, my daughter came here for a family gathering. You remember that? I mean, not a family gathering, but a gathering. But everybody know what that means. So now look, that's why Gina McGill and Zach would throwing everybody off with like, look, the people with the luggage in the lobby, they come to get organ harvesting, the kidney, which is that is true. That's why they get prepared for it. Cause this when the girl finna die, they get prepared for this shit. Look, if you look when the girl and watch this footage, look how everybody on the footage. If you go back to 1 something when Tay Zonday said it was police officer in certain location directing traffic, don't that what they look like now? Don't nobody supposed to be in these areas because they saying they were filming the movie. In reality, the camera's rolling. And they don't need nobody in this area while these people putting on the hit. So look, her brother show up with gang them with Kenneka. That's what made Kenneka's name stuck out because they were with the brother the whole time while Kenneka was in the lobby meeting up with a dude and leaving at the hotel. And while her brother come in and then look, when Kenneka was in that lobby meeting up with dude, look how everything took place when man came back came back in the hotel. Look, you see that? Man came back in the hotel, then you got Friends Cave on the move. What time Straight Driver said? What time all this will be going on? This man said at 1:30 or 1:50. Look what's on the footage at 130 and 150. No wonder why all these people name came up. No wonder why all these people name came up. Cause that's one time she would be getting lured to a kitchen and it would make sense where they were going. So if they was going into the kitchen, watch this. When Gina McGill, check this out. Guess if you got Gina McGill telling everybody, Zach, the people with the luggage, they are part of the organ harvester. Y'all see this at one some? Y'all see this at one some? Who y'all all see? Security and family and friends at one some. Look at all this at one some. Remind y'all that y'all heard when Gina McGill. Let's go to Zach TV right quick. I need to go to Zach TV. Matter of fact, let me go to the Macho story. If you knock 1 hour off this 130, guess who released this? Guess who released this? Gina McGill. Gina McGill exposed Macho. Watch this. If you take this at 130, what you think you seeing on the footage? At 130. Bam, you finna see friends carrying there. Look, Kenneka just left out that jump. Let's watch this shit again. Cause you got to watch this from the beginning. Watch this, guy. Hold on. So let's go to when Miss Teresa get the call at 2:30. This when Miss Teresa will be getting the call at 2:30 when everything was going down in the kitchen. But look at an hour before that. If you know this is a setup, right, you got to get your victim to the kitchen first. Watch this. Look, let's pay attention to the timestamp. Do this hit different now? Watch this. And let's take a moment of silence for Kenneka. So that's why Straight Drive was like, yeah, everybody was part of it, had to wear blue shirts and khaki pants. Then he said that. Then Straight Drive said, yeah, everybody gonna be on the footage, gonna be wearing especially him. He said they're gonna be wearing blue shirts and khaki pants. Guess who they really is? So boom, you got a YouTuber right here working with Greg Hughes. So the whole time, this was Chasing Truth. They were working with Greg Hughes. This is what Greg Hughes finna come in there with Chasing Truth, and this is why she had content about the Kenneka Jenkins case. Cause look what it all showing at one song. I need to pull up Gina McGill when she was like, yeah, look at the luggage, Zach. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me go to it. I got to play Zach shit with. Right here. Listen to this.
Back somebody else. A lot of people told me fall back from this case, finish fucking with rappers and shit. You know.
Not this one.
But now you saying people watching me. They watching everybody. Everybody is.
See, you got Snapchat and you have your Twitter account.
Right.
The person, Joel Comer, COMM, he's the owner.
So watch this. Here we go.
This is crazy.
It's deeper than what you think. I keep on trying to talk with somebody.
Okay.
I'm just like frustrated. I'm frustrated because they keep calling my house.
Hold on.
Because they're listen, there are cameras in these smart TVs. There's technology that we don't even know about. You understand? They even tell you it's in your phone.
So watch this. So watch this. If you watch this footage, you will see why. So the whole time in this video, this was actually Kenneka. Let's just say Zach knew there was Kenneka meeting up with a dude. Kenneka meeting up with a dude. He know gang now. Then you got people in the luggage. You got the whole setup going down at 1 something on the footage. For to get the public off of that, show them this. Show her coming in, and we agree to change the timestamp and show her she coming in at this time. But you see the real setup on the footage. That explains why Mr. Reese said how my daughter made it outside. The footage show how she made it outside. Look. So listen to Zach and Gina McGill, because she the one that dropped the macho letter. Look. Everything what she finna say, do this time match up with the macho letter at 1:30? Hi y'all, and he headed to the kitchen. And we all read the macho letter, right? 1:30. Don't this make sense?
Okay, but tell me this. Like, what does this have to do with Kenneka?
Because they're joking about it. They were there.
Hold up. He was there, like, at the time of the crime or what?
Right.
Oh, he was there at the time of the crime. Guess that's why they got access to the kitchen. That's why they got access to the kitchen, and it could go down in the kitchen. Then make it so bad, they even admit employee was in the kitchen. Watch this.
Are you hold on? How sure are you that he was there?
I've been reviewing them pictures all day today. These people, those white people that walked into the building,
Right.
the luggage and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, they're from the what do you call it?
He what?
Where they come and get body parts.
Ain't this funny that Zach said that, whoa, these people were there? She was like, yeah. And Zach said they're going to be there at the time of the murder. Look what time the murder was taking place. And that's why they went back to the luggage right here. Because this when the murder took place. Kenneka was lured out the hotel with a dude. While her family and friends came in the hotel. So basically the girl came in and walked right back out, meeting up with a dude. And once you think about Kilo Brown's story, don't that go, damn. God damn it.
Okay.
Okay, the guy in the stripy shirt has a stripy shirt on.
Snitching.
With a picture
Snitching.
of the company that he works with in Chicago.
You finna see the stripy shirt come in.
Organ donors, I forgot the name of the company. I didn't write that down today because I've been writing so quickly. Go to this here, GIFFARI.
Okay.
And RAFSANJAANI.
Okay.
Okay, that's one person to look into. The other one is Joel Combs. JOELCOMM. He's the owner of IBM.
So why would these guys target Kenneka Jenkins out of everybody in that hotel?
Listen, they said on that piece of, they got a picture of Mona Lisa.
So check this out. You got Kenneka left out the lobby with a dude. This would be the setup. This why Irene's story never made sense. She was still in the room. They were French K. French K finna be missing for 30 minutes now. Look, hold up. French K finna be missing for 30 minutes. You just saw Man come in. French Cave on the move. You got this white girl on the move with the son, and guess who else you finna see that everybody think they got the car keys? Uh-oh. Look. Guess who finna show up right behind Frank's case? So that mean Bree was with Kenneka and won something. See what just look, that mean when Bree, oh, that's why they know, that's why they were walking and they started hearing shit on the lower level. All is at one song. Oh look, watch this.
Talking about her hair was all messed up. It's in the chat. It's chat. There's another guy I'll get to. He's a police officer. His name is Paul Manning. See, I'm giving this information. I'm trying to get quickly.
I'm listening to you. I'm driving. I'm on the E-way driving to a video shoot, but I'm listening to you at the same time. Keep talking.
Look, this the cold part about it. Y'all see this dude? Watch how this dude finna sneak and blend in off the camera. Look. You see how he sneak? That's why that's the perfect time to sneak out with everybody. Boom, then you got front desk going right behind them. You got front desk going right behind him. So now look, if anything get out of hand, if this assault going down, right, and if this assault finna go down, and it's gonna be blood and all this old stuff, somebody gonna need change of clothes. Round about this time, hi-yo!
Okay, it's Paul Manning. You gotta look into him. It's MOBINSILTRATOR. That's another person to look.
Okay, and these are suspects, right?
Correct.
Okay, I got a question for you. Why out of everybody, why you come to Zach TV instead of going to the police officers?
Because Zach, you said that you wanted to do this here.
Right.
You wanted to solve this here. I'm by myself. I don't have anybody. We just don't know.
Okay, tell me, do any of the friends have anything to do with it? Because I believe they don't have shit to do with it.
Oh, I believe they got a lot to do with it.
Whoa. You said the friends got something to do with it?
I think they do.
What?
Tell me, yo, what the footage show? Do this look like the family and friend was involved in the setup and won something in the morning and the police changed the timestamp so they could lie to us to fit the narrative? And that's why Zach said, yeah, you think the friends had something to do with it? Because he know what the footage showed. That's why it took so long for him to release the Irene video. And once you go back to his video, that's why he stuck on to something, doing the family a favor so everybody can believe, well, they last saw her at 2 something. That's true. Because if they last saw her at 2 something, guess who else would last saw her at 2 something? Miss Teresa. She get the call at 2 something, Miss Teresa. At 2 something, Miss Teresa was this is why this read like this. Miss Teresa was sure that they were gonna check the hotel security camera and let her know how she ended up in the freezer. Not because she was lost and they couldn't find her. She was already in the freezer. Miss Teresa was desperate, like, what the old camera show? Cause look what the cameras would be showing. Look what the cameras would be showing that 1 something. And look what it really would be showing at 2 something. You see more family and friends on the footage than the staff do. Then look. This why her story would match up. Talking about Kenneka left with a nigga in the beginning. Don't this all match up now?
happened to the people that she was giving the the room number to? Because by that time, while they all getting their rocks off, these people are showing up, so it's getting deep. So motherfuckers done called the police. So by the time everything done went down, now it's a commotion.
McGee even said the police were there. Look what time the police would show up. Who you think Mitch Teresa was talking to? Security and the police about camera footage, and this going on at 2:30. At 2:30. That's why Mitch Teresa said she got the call at 4:34. Ooh. Cause when the lawyer said Mitch Teresa was notified immediately, not hours later, if Kenneka came up missing at 2-some and stumbling in the freezer at 3-some. That's why they showed her walking in the freezer at 3:30, knocked 2 hours off. That's why they needed a reenactment, her best friend, to walk back there and agreed to show that at 3-some to fit the narrative. This exposed to Mitch Teresa live talking about I got the call at 4:34 and paperwork and clear as day. You were there at 2:30. So when you showing Kenneka, when you claim to be, you got pictures in your phone of Kenneka and trying to show the guests like, have y'all seen her? Maybe you was in there showing them that video they already had saved in the phone. Then look, we got these videos. These videos, if I put these videos out and said this happened at 1 and 2 in the morning, right? Because I don't want to go with your narrative. So guess what the hotel did? Switch the timestamp up. Guess what's else on those videos that you would see? Look, at 1-some, Macho, this is security guard, right? Ain't we finna see Macho heading toward, look, ain't we finna see Macho, goddammit, finna be missing on the footage for 30 minutes, aka, look at the footage. Watch the footage. That's why Jenny McGill mentioned the striped shirt in the lobby. You see the striped shirt dude in the lobby? Look what time he will be in the lobby. Come to find out, he the assistant beverage manager. That's why he stopped at the front desk and he pointed him back to the freezer. Look all of this. Look what all will be going down at 1-some. Friends Cave on the move, Bree on the move. This the cold part about it. Bree slick as hell. Look, watch how Bree finna come in undetected. So when Jenny McGill was explaining to Zach, look at the people in the luggage, but look at the setup. Man coming in. Then they all know each other. They all there for that purpose, and you got the police there. Because when they come to Tay said the police would there be right here up under the cameras. And that's why you got everybody will be coming in with Kenneka, bruh. Look. These people came in with Kenneka. Bam. So check this out. Who would really have the keys at this point? Because at this point, I don't even think Bree had the keys. Because if Kenneka showed up, bro, and her brother and them there, look how many cars they would have to come in for. Oh, that's why I see those dudes running in the parking lot at 2-something in the morning. Well, it's gonna say 4-something on the footage in the morning, but it actually 2-some. So this explains why everybody will be. Oh man. So now look, This finna expose me Teresa at Tucson. We got a whole hour to watch this, and guess how this all finna make sense at 2:30. If Miss Teresa showed up at that hotel putting the pressure on them folks about that surveillance, it's not because her daughter missing. It's only thing she wanna do. She wanna see all the security camera footage. Not be like my daughter missing. You know what I'm saying? She want to see what's on that camera. Look what's on that camera. Hold up. Boom. If you keep reading this right, if you do, they go Friends K, he on the move. So look what be going on at 1 something in the morning. You finna see Man come in. Boom, you finna see Bree come in. Friends Cave already, you know what I'm saying? When he finna be missing for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So look, when it come to 3 o'clock, I bet you this was going on at 3 o'clock. I bet you this was going on at 3 o'clock. This was going on at 3 o'clock. The best friend. And I won't even be surprised if Kenneka is already in that freezer while she playing the role. There go Bree. Look what time Bree will come in. If Kenneka made it in that hotel at 1:13, you got her friend coming back in. Damn near 10-15 minutes later. That's the cold part about it. That's why when they put her in the cooler where my mouth said on this side and cropped it out and had plans on putting her in that freezer, that's why they needed her to walk. And this director say she walked in the freezer. In reality, it was a camera above that freezer where we see, and it would have showed a real murder how she got in the cooler in the freezer on this side, because she was never in the freezer. She was in the cooler till they moved her to the freezer. See what I'm saying? That's probably why they would be saying that, Uncle Fed, because when I would listen to them folks, that's probably why they were saying there's going to be 2 girls in the freezer and all this shit, and one already in the freezer, because you got to think about this. At some point in time, she already going to be in the freezer at 3 some, because they got pictures showing the same timestamp on the watch, and this at 3:15. So if you got pictures of Kenneka in the freezer at 3:15, and the watch proved that, well, this at 3:15, Kenneka will be laid on her back. Then you got the friend 15 minutes later trying to walk like her, be like her, walking on the foot, so they could say she walked in this freezer instead of show. I'd rather show a reenactment, somebody walking in the freezer. In reality, Kenneka will be in this freezer, because this is where the murder would happen. To cover that up, you got to have somebody walk back her and say she walked in the freezer. That's why it looked like drag marks, all that's in the kitchen, because she was placed there. And she could be actually killed in this cooler. Because keep this in mind. If you read the paperwork like I did, study the paperwork, all the witness statements, the timestamp, and then when you go back to Macho's story, watch how this finna make sense when it come back to the Macho story. Macho then would be smoking in the coolers. He ain't say the freezer. He said, me and my boy Macho, we go smoke up in the coolers. So look. Oh, look, wait a minute. So what do you think? Boom. Bree coming out that motherfucker. They gonna be in the cooler at 1 some smoking. That's why Gina McGill released that letter. So look how Gina McGill sound look, these people all with the organ hops and all of this, but they gonna need gang them to kill her, cause they ain't gonna kill her. So boom, so they gonna lure her in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Where they gonna stage it at, and that's why Macho story was like, look, maybe 15 minutes later, cause look, after 1:30, it match up with the footage, cause damn near 1:30, you see Bree coming back in. And Kenneka will be entering the hotel where Leslie Bree will be coming from. And the girl stopped in, looked surprised, and see Macho. Come on, gang. Listen to this shit.
This so which shows that she whichever went on, you know, whatever
right now, because I understand where you stand, but what would be the overall message to them? Because sometimes I feel that they can do more harm than help in this situation.
Exactly.
So what when you sit up, if you had one message that you want to say to them, what would it be?
My message to them is stop taking advantage. And if they haven't took advantage of nobody, then don't do it. Especially when a time of need, when someone is begging and grieving, you know, don't take advantage of them. Do what's right, and stop using God's name in vain. You know, because you could trick a whole lot of people with the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I never met none of the activists, you know, besides Mark. I knew him, you know, from the neighborhood.
Right.
Personally, none of the activists. So they're coming out and they introducing themselves. Well, of course, they make it seem as if they're here to help you. And all along, everybody's out for the same purpose.
That's why she had to call the protest out, because she was getting exposed, because the family was throwing the protest. Them were family members the whole time. And that wasn't supposed for the public to know that.
Well, I'm not going to say everybody, but the ones that fall into that category.
Right.
You know, and it's sad.
It's such a devastating story. So at this moment, and kind of just to piggy off of what Kyle said, because the photos came out publicly. Was that your first time seeing the photos too?
Well, they showed us 4 of the photos when she was in the freezer, and one of the photos, the fifth photo.
And that's why she's stuttering, because at one look what the footage showed. Then she asked her a question. She said one of the photos show her in the freezer. And one of the other photos show her in the lobby. So that means, and the other video show her walking to the kitchen. Chase that pattern. That means her best friend will be walking in the kitchen, because Kenneka could be still alive in the cooler, unresponsible, and still need medical attention. You see what I'm saying? That's why they always talking about 2 different girls in the freezer. I see why they would say that. Because you got Kenneka in the freezer, but you got the best friend in the kitchen on camera playing the best friend. So, if all of this was going on at 3-something in the morning, when they got the best friend walking in the kitchen, check this out. They got the best friend in the kitchen at 3-something playing Kenneka. So that means once you go back to this, Miss Teresa get the call at 2:30. So that means they had a whole hour. Be like, look, we're gonna have you walk down there, play Kenneka right back. The family will be up there. Miss Teresa will be all up there. And then you got a reenactment going on there at 3:30. Oh, it makes sense. It make a totally lot of sense. It makes so much sense. I mean, Look. So basically, Kenneka entered to a hotel, watch this game. From what we saw on the footage, and that's why he would be, ooh. What time y'all see Killer on the footage? What time that is? Now we know why Killer would be walking down there at 2 something. Cause that's when Miss Teresa would be like, yeah, I got the call. And Irene said, I get the call too that Kenneka missing at 2 something. Then the lawyer said, yeah, when Kenneka was missing, notified, it was right after when they reported her missing. So basically, they killed that girl and had an hour to come up with a narrative and to show us after the murder. This is what we're going to show the public. Kenneka come in that lobby, leave with a dude at 1 something. We don't see Kenneka no more after that 1 something. And this the last time she gonna have contact with her sister at 1 something. According to this. Look, according to this, at 1 something. So now you got a whole hour Kenneka in the hotel. So around that 2 something, that's when they had to report her missing. The reason why they report her missing, because she could be dead at this point. They already killed her. No, they could find out like, okay, she dead, y'all. Okay, let's report her missing. So at 2 something, next thing you know, look what they would be doing. You got the best friend seen coming out the room on the 9th floor. 2 something, boom. 2 something, bam. Why all this going on? Come on, bro. That would be impossible if this was at 2 something, because you supposed to see the friend come at 3 something, right? That's when the friend would be doing all this shit actually at 3 something, because this would match up at 3 something. Miss Teresa was notified at 2:30, staff members and everything. They had a whole hour, and next thing you know, boom, they got Kenneka walking on the camera with employees, with the best friend. So I'm seeing the pattern. So when so check this out. So this would clear Miss Teresa when she said, while all this was going on, I got the call at 4:34. And that's why when everything happened after 3:30, if you look at, boy, this shit crazy. So look. That's why you would see Killer on their way to the kitchen at 2 something. Look what be going on in the... Look, watch this. This finna go on 2 o'clock. It's 1:46, 1:47, right? Mm-hmm. Boom! Look at the security. And it's funny that what was the best friend? Cause she supposed to been in town, right? Check this out. Don't you think you supposed to see the best friend when they show back up at the hotel with Miss Teresa and all of this old shit? And the best friend would never. Ooh, wee. Hi, y'all, man. Let's get those likes up. Look, let's get those likes up, gang. Check this out. So, bam, while you got all of this, is that the real reason why they had to stall all through that day? Like they come find her and nobody didn't know she was in the freezer? Because that's probably when the organs was being removed. See what I'm saying? And Miss Teresa knew the best friend set her daughter up, and look how she went to the certain extent to have the best friend playing her on the footage. This why you got him at what time? Look what time it is. So watch this. Check this out. If you read between the lines, they said this was in September at 3:20 p.m. What if you want to go with this? Would this explain how they would take pictures of Kenneka in the freezer and her watch clearly said 3:15? September 9th, 3:20 a.m. Rosemont started the investigation of the hotel. That would explain why we saw pictures on her back and they captured the timestamp. Man, I'm body blowing these people, bruh. I seen this footage so many times. And don't you know, man, this footage gave me headaches. Cause I'm like, man, I know something going down. Look, I was like, I know something going down. Cause I'm looking at everybody more. I'm like, man, this man can't be still. He communicate with other motherfuckers and they on the move. Now I see why he will be on the move. So look what be going on at 3:20 in the morning. Rosemont will be conducting an investigation like Kilo Brown said. What?
So when everybody got to coming out the hotel and all this and that, the best friends pump faking like she was behind me and I knew I had her with me and da-da-da-da-da. Motherfuckers like, well shit, we ain't seen her since you took her out the room. Everybody's not paying to the simple, the matters and the facts of the situation. I don't get no fuck. They better get that little bitch and they better get that little bitch and lock that little, the best friend. Them, y'all not, them ain't the niggas.
Hi y'all, that's why the best friend name came up and they needed Monique to say she was the best friend. They had everybody believe Monique was the best friend.
That touched her. Y'all look, everybody's blaming these niggas that they see in the reflection of that girl's glasses, but they not understanding that the girl that's sitting on the bed back is facing.
Look, what time this is? It's finna go on 2 o'clock. Hold up. French K finna be missing. Watch this. How long French K been missing? Cause at this point, Kenneka supposed to be in the pool area. Ooh. And then Tucson, they will be placing her in the freezer, staging the crime scene, and then threesome, that's when they'll be taking photos of the body and catching the timestamp at threesome. That's why Man came running back in. And guess where they will be come from? Because you look, if you go to Macho Story, bam, look at the Macho Story. Everything match up. They will all be in the cooler with Macho, the security, when it's going down. Bam. So, won't this match the timestamp up that Kenneka will be on the phone texting her sister, I'm ready to go, if Macho down there tripping, and nobody answer her call. So it basically saying that she lured her through her own family and friend through the kitchen where some more people she'll recognize and she won't know it's a setup until she get in the cooler. The time match up perfectly. Gina McGill released this shit, bruh. So why Gina McGill would release this and brought up Macho and tell Zach this shit? Look.
When it tip, come on, talk to me. He's the owner of this social media site?
Yes. Yes.
So is that the guy that's in it that's
And check this out. What y'all think he will be watching? Same thing with Gina McGill. Look at the timestamp on her, bruh. This is exactly at 2 o'clock. Look. This when they gonna text back Kenneka phone talking about, yeah, girl, I'm ready to go too. Look what you see on the footage.
Hold up. In the video, it's the coroner and it's the young guy and he put something in his jacket. Who is that guy?
The coroner is related to the hotel manager.
What?
With an award, he's getting an award from one of the companies that harvest bodies in Chicago.
So now do y'all understand the footage that this was going on there too some? That's why he pacing it forward back. Cause they killing the girl. And it's on camera. It's on camera and he watching it. That's why he pacing back and forth, cause maybe he can't see some of all of it, cause it make it be so much, it could be so bad what it's shown on the footage. He can't even watch all of it, bro. Look at his reaction. This at 2 o'clock. Bree coming out that motherfucker. Boom. Boom, Monique and them coming back in that job. This really will be going on there too, son, bro. Look at his facial expression. Man, I see why he was nervous. I was watching this footage, bro, so many times. I broke down on this scene because I'm like, man, I know he watching this shit, bro. Cause look, he scratching this shit. Bam, he watching it. Boom, then he hitting the panic button. Two some. With security. Keep this in mind. Miss Teresa finna be notified in the next 30 minutes. So look what we all going on in the footage. And Miss Teresa played the whole fucking world. Cause she knew everybody that didn't watch the footage how the way we supposed to watch the footage. Cause look, it should be no more questions and answers like, oh, what he watching? Oh, why he on this phone? Cause look, this was the throw off. Show this between the hours of 2 and 4. Cause they ain't even know what time to go with in the beginning. You got Miss Teresa got edited ass videos, and a hotel got edited ass videos.
Wow. Hey, can I ask you, what's your name again, ma'am?
Tanya.
Tanya. I'm gonna say this. I received.
And that's why Living Normal would be talking to the police. She was the last one that talked to her sister and saw her sister. That's why you don't see Miss Teresa in this picture, bruh. Because I'm like, why Living Normal handling an investigation? It didn't make sense to me. You got the mother talking about I'm looking for my daughter, but Living Normal control of the whole operation, and we see why.
Literally probably like 7 to 8 other anonymous phone calls with people threatening me and saying, leave this fucking case alone, you nigger. This have nothing to do with you. You're putting your nose in other people's business. And now and everybody's been calling private except one number. It was a number that I couldn't call back.
And that's why I was seeing all these employees was in this area looking at the cameras. Now I understand the whole footage. Check this out. Look what Mr. Reed's gonna tell everybody.
Photo that was like a picture of her when she's walking in the through the lobby, you know.
But when I saw the photos on last weekend, I was like, I was heartbroken because, you know, my mom passed and I have photos when my mother died, but obviously they're not public. I never want them to be public. And I was like, you know, this story has become so transparent that all these photos and your daughter's last final hours, we get to see.
They talking about photos, not what's on the surveillance footage. Cause why you think Mr. Reese said they got photos of her in the kitchen, in the freezer, and they got another photo of her walking in the lobby. So you follow her pattern and be like, oh, I see what you saying, Mr. Reese. Kenneka will be in the cooler while her best friend will be in the kitchen. That's why you got the photos of the real Kenneka in the lobby and you got the best friend playing her like 2 hours later. That's probably why the news said Kenneka was roaming the hall for an hour or two.
And I was just like, that is so, it's sad to me, you know, because at the end of the day, this is a public story and we all need answers. But then you are also a mother and this is your child. And do we really want to have the world see your child at her last moments? You know, like it's just difficult. So we all feel for you. We all feel for you because to go through any loss is terrible. To go through it in front of the public eye is unimaginable.
Exactly.
So from the city of Chicago, so you do not agree with the simple story of your daughter walking into the freezer and freezing to death. That is not acceptable to you.
That's not acceptable.
Okay.
So why is it not acceptable and you allow these people to do it? So there was the conspiracy about it. But you knew that was your daughter, and you knew the public wasn't gonna believe that's your daughter. But keeping the conspiracy, you got to agree that's your daughter on the footage, though. You see what I'm saying? On all the footage. And so you like, well, that story ain't gonna make sense because you got her coming in here and this happened, then the time changed. This ain't what we agreed in the beginning. You know what I'm talking about?
Especially when it was cameras that should have showed not only besides the back of her, but the front of her as well. You know, it was a camera directly over this freezer.
They haven't showed us images of that.
I know. At the meeting, the closing of the meeting,
yeah.
I asked the detective.
Who go to meetings? You see what I'm saying? I ain't never seen a victim. Somebody had a tragedy death and the police be like, come to the meetings. Normally the detective call be like, yeah, we got a little information and all this. Can you come to the station for a statement? No meetings. So that's why they got the best friend will be playing her at 3 in the morning. At 3 in the morning.
I just want to know if
Are you kidding me? As a physician, as a doctor, as a dad, it just makes me angry, frustrated. You're really sitting there.
I've never heard a 911 dispatch say, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's fine." I've never. Maybe your friends are lying. I've never heard that in my life.
Wait a couple hours. It's the absolute wrong thing to do.
And the time is ticking for her body temperature going down.
Freezing to death is one scenario, which we're going to get to, but whatever's going on, carjacking, kidnapping, time is not your friend here.
Exactly.
At what point did the police finally say, this is a problem, this young woman's been missing?
Did y'all hear that question? Listen to that question again. When he said this.
Whatever's going on, carjacking, kidnapping, time is not your friend here.
Exactly.
At what point did the police finally say, this is a problem, this young woman's been missing?
When we went, they
See that? So that means, guess what time he was talking about? And Liver Norris spoke up on that time. So this got to be between 2 and 3 o'clock when the police said, hey, this got to be a problem. That's why the lawyer said, hey, man, we got to report her missing. This would be at Tucson.
They came to arrest us. That's how
Watch the mammy.
Came to arrest you?
Yes.
Now you see why she said come to arrest her. Why not arrest Liver Norris? She set it up, right? But she tried to reverse psychology that through us, try to make it look like they was harassing us and they've been treated unfairly. Hold on, watch this.
For what?
And this was like 6:30 in the evening.
Why would they arrest you?
Because
It wasn't no 6:30 in the evening.
Lenore and them and the rest of the family members, they go upstairs. One of the kids pulled this fire drill, figuring by them pulling the fire drill, everybody will run out. But they didn't, and they was knocking on doors and all of them had their phones, and it was like, with Kenneka picture asking them, did y'all see her? Did y'all see her? Because we're figuring she's got to be in this hotel somewhere.
So the
Man, stop it. You see what I'm saying? Stop it. Look what they said about you, Miss Teresa. You'll be at the hotel at 2-something in the morning talk about check the cameras. And then look, while they talking about check the camera, look what they will be watching at 2:30 on the camera, live. Live. If you was up there at 2:30, so that means, damn, what if her best friend was walking on this area at 2:30 in the morning? Cause it would show everybody down there at 2:30 in the morning. It would show everybody would be going to the freezer at 2:30. Boom.
When y'all start looking for it, y'all realize, damn, she nowhere in this motherfucker. What else came to mind?
Nah, we thought she was a nigga, Joe. We ain't know now.
Oh, okay, be real.
Hi y'all, now this shit makes sense.
Be real, bro. Be real.
We trying to hope for the best. We not thinking of
what you mean?
Things
At
like
what
that.
point in time, like was you talking at the point in time once we walking around the hotel accent? That's what you mean?
Yeah.
When we got rid at that time?
Yeah.
Oh shit, at that time, once he won no reaction, that motherfucker still looking hard, but we all way out here in this hunky town like.
So this the only thing they had working for them is this video that they want us to believe this between the hours of 2 and 3 o'clock. They needed that video. Cause that's why they dropped the video before Crown Plaza was able to drop surveillance footage. If you really think about it, the real reason why Crown Plaza had to stall more time and really tap in with the footage, cause look what the family beat him at the own game and told everybody. It was around 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So and them would still be in the room. So they thought by them having this video released, it would get them out the dog. Like, well, they still in the room round by this time. In reality, they on the footage, setting up Kenneka. You see the setup, and they had to make Crown Plaza change the old motherfucking timestamps. You got to, after that one. Because if you don't, Mitch Reese and them got the upper hand. So that's why Crown Plaza had to submit, bruh. They had to submit to Mitch Reese narrative, the police, all of them. They had to submit because of that video. Then you got Kilo Brown. Look, Kilo Brown so done. She telling everything what was happening on the footage. Then she left with a dude, and they ended up in the freezer party. And he was down there doing this to Kenneka while her best friend somewhere sucking dick. And I like, why would she say her best friend be somewhere sucking dick? And then next time you know, later on, you come to find out the phone tech did say somebody dick little. So that means the best friend could be sucking dick and had Kenneka phone. Cause that's when so won't it make sense that if Kenneka's text 120, I'm ready to go, and the best friend takes her phone back, talking about I am too. So she knew where Kenneka was, and that's how they'll get that phone back. And once they get that phone back, that's why they changed the name from Martin to Jenkins. I mean Jenkins to Martin. Look.
Like, well, I don't want to say no, you know, what it is.
Yeah, you know.
We all out there for, and they can't do too much because they gonna get us removed in the door, just like what's going on with them protesting. So you get to barking up trees that touch your nerve, they gonna get you up out of there.
Yeah. And when we was walking around there, looking after all that, it still was never. They didn't come tell us like, yeah, we finna put y'all out of, yes, y'all disturbing the peace. They never said nothing to us.
They wanted y'all to stay.
They didn't say anything. Blankly didn't say nothing. There wasn't no concern. It wasn't no, hey, yeah, y'all disturbing the peace. We finna put y'all out. Ooh, no.
Who went?
To be honest, we couldn't find nobody. We literally walking around like, where's the help? Where's the hotel security? Where did they go? We didn't see dude. We didn't see nobody. We didn't see nobody. We seen main two. When the party was going on, when it was jumping, it was buzzing. It was 2 main security guards that was coming up there. And after we started looking for her, we looking for hotel security, like, man, somebody to help, you know, somebody that can go in the back, somebody that can go not get the access to open door. None of that. We didn't see nobody. We didn't get no help. It wasn't like they was concerned.
Okay. This the realest shit.
PP.
Oh, that's a personal problem, but double P. That's the realest shit I heard on some real shit, some real Chicago shit. You like, we at a party, we thinking, Shorty dipped off with a nigga. Yeah, you know it's Chicago. We know what, come on, bro. We finna what? We know.
Real period, man.
On Shannon, I see how y'all coming.
You know how, come on, man.
Okay.
We can't find it, man. What Kendra? Oh, Kendra.
Cause you know, my thoughts as well as everybody on Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, Periscope, Instagram. What the fuck was that? Oh, all right, we good. All right, hold on. I'm like, whoa. Hold on. I'm thinking this. Like, why the fuck and who the fuck would leave a friend behind? But y'all saying she probably dipped off with somebody on some other shit.
We think,
bro, look, it wasn't like a motherfucker left her for a whole.
Now it makes sense when it come to this.
Towards the door. So everything that's behind her is a hotel door in the bathroom. Everything that was in front of her was a windowsill in the other motherfucking bed sitting across from her. Them niggas was all sitting on the bed. It's more than them niggas that was in there. It was more. And then y'all too busy focusing on none of them niggas. I done found 2 other niggas other than the niggas that y'all see in the reflection that was in there, that was at the motherfucking party. Cause now they talking about the bitch, talking about the little bitch should have been taking dick and quit hollering about being raped. So y'all focusing on all the wrong little niggas. Them little niggas was in that hotel room lame as hell sitting back. Cause if you see her in the
I want to know if her best friend was doing all that shit, then maybe her best friend was in that room with those niggas and that would be going on with her. I won't be surprised. They smashing the best friend in the room and they smashing Kenneka down in the lower level basement. There's a lot of ways you can go with this shit. Look.
And also as well as the sergeant. And the sergeant said aggressively, there wasn't no camera. So I guess the camera disappeared too.
Right. Because all the images we've seen are her walking through the kitchen, but then she disappears and we don't see her actually walk into the freezer. But you're saying there was actually definitely a camera there.
It was definitely a camera there.
What about the statement? Because there was a lot of controversy about whether or not Andrew Holmes actually said, we see on the camera her walking to the freezer and the door closed behind her. I was one of the people that said, yo, I know I heard him say that. But then when I went back and I tried to find the transcripts, I couldn't find it.
Andrew Holmes called my phone.
Because Andrew Holmes narrative supposed to go off Zaria narrative. That was the game plan. You got Zaria playing Kenneka, go with her bumping in the walls and trying to convince the public this the route that she walked down to get downstairs in the lower level kitchen. In reality, Kenneka never walked those halls, bro. I won't even look. If it was a setup, you could even be like, yeah, Kenneka, meet me downstairs in the kitchen. She's gonna walk and meet me downstairs in the kitchen. You're gonna have a route of that. I could be drunk or I could be sober. At least I'm on the footage walking toward the freezer or the kitchen area that's in question, right? But they couldn't show that. Why they couldn't show that? One or two reasons. She never walked down there. Or it's a video that she never walked down there, and that's why they said they got camera footage of her being carried down there. That's a difference. That's the difference right there. So Andrew Holmes narrative to go out and feed out Zaria narrative. So everybody be like, well, somebody reaching and grabbing and touching her. Ooh, it look like it's a struggle on the 11th floor. Look how Straight Drop, 54 Keys, Candy Star all promoted that fight scene. They promoted the fight scene. Check this out. When they promoted the fight scene, talking about it was a struggle, placing it down on the lower level through hallway, the real fight scene was in the parking lot coming in the kitchen. So they knew it was a fight. So to throw everybody out, say it happened on the lower level, because you don't want to think, oh, we just saw Kenneka balls leave out the parking lot with a dude. That's when the fight gonna have to happen, and they gonna be like, YouTube 54 them like, nah, that ain't what you see, because that's not Kenneka, that's ball, the her different. So let's go back to a fight scene on the lower level down here. I found the fight, Candy Star. Collaborate. Man, these folks will collaborate like a motherfucker. Then you got Irene on them motherfucker. I last saw her at Tucson and then explain your part. Well, you know, she was in the room at Tucson. And when she left out the room, not even 30 seconds later, Monique and them come back talking about she not outside no more. So that never happened. That was a lie they told us. Cause whoever came out that room going to be the best friend playing a drum roll. Cause what if they want to show us on that 9th floor camera, Kenneka being left by the elevator and it being played by her best friend, and they said, man, this footage ain't gonna work, cause everybody gonna know, you know what I'm saying, that's not Kenneka. Everybody gonna be suspicious of that. So never talk about that camera again and never mention it. That's why you don't hear nothing about the camera from the 9th floor. Like Andrew Holmes said, I saw her coming out the room, She was drunk and purred, jumped on the elevator, never said nothing about Monifa, brought her outside and laid her down and left her by the elevator. He said they all got on the elevator and Kenneka mashed the button and they all went down and they left and Kenneka turned back around and jumped on the elevator and got on the lower level. So that would be the best friend doing on the elevator while Kenneka in that parking lot finna get set up and go in their kitchen. So it would be showing the best friend would be heading towards the kitchen while the Kenneka is heading toward the kitchen through the outside and the fresh friend on the inside walking through the freezer playing drunk and shit. So once you go back to Kenneka lawyer, that's why the lawyer said this. Now look, he was walking with the brother in the hotel. No wonder why he stood out in the whole investigation. Then they asked him, did y'all murder that girl? They laughing. Boom, boom, boom. Nah, we just lifted her soul. Where the lawyer at? Watch this shit.
What's up, all my money makers and my scene for the last, year or better, or better, And I've seen a couple people, caught that. And I'm just like, okay, well, here's Teresa again. The first problem I had is with the watches. I had made the video a while back about, her saying that the police gave her the watch.
Now y'all see why the watch was a big deal in the beginning. We just didn't know how to look at it. If you look at the timestamp on the watch, this said 3:15. Why you think they had to give Miss Teresa the watch back? If Miss Teresa was already up there at 2-something talking to the police and security, look what they would be doing an hour later, taking photos of the body, catching the watch, and giving it back to Miss Teresa.
The belly chain and the little scrunchie, the little hair tie. And then on Rosamund's site, they posted a watch and, the belly chain and the hair scrunchy thing. And, with all of the items, the most similar thing was the belly chain. I mean, the little belly ring or whatever. But as far as the hair tie and the watch, they were totally different. And so I always had a problem with why would she allow them to post one thing and present us with another thing, and then she know what her child left the house wearing. So if she had on the watch that she claimed that the police had given her, then why when Rosamund posted a watch of a whole nother color, she didn't.
You don't got a room that we can see?
Why me?
Okay. Who are you? Who are you?
Boom!
We don't know who you are talking to.
Now look what be going on the footage at Tucson. It all match up. So, hold up. I need that video of that lawyer, bruh. Let me see.
Not entirely clear. That's primarily because there have been no adequate answers given.
Now look, if you look at this footage, you know this what time it is now. This is not at 4-something. This will be at 2-something in the morning. So if this at 2-something in the morning, what this sound like then? Miss Teresa? What this sound like then? Miss Teresa will be assured 2-something by the staff minute to review all cameras, why you think they would be in the lobby? Tucson. Keep this in mind. Me Teresa told everybody I ain't know nothing till about 4:34 in the morning. Well, this at 2:30, right? If you got the call at 4:34, you got the call round about that time frame from the staff, the security at Tucson. So you would last saw Kenneka at Tucson. Irene would last saw everybody admit they last saw the girl at Tucson. And guess what they would be doing? Placing her in the freezer and help covering up the crime scene. And then look, at 1:30, once they establish her in the freezer, now you will have the best friend will be walking in the kitchen. That's why they couldn't say where she was at for an hour. Usually I saw her at Tucson, then it wouldn't make sense. But if you find out, oh, okay, that's why the best friend was walking on the video footage at Threesome and at Tucson, the family, look, so if you look at Tucson, they want to say Kenneka was last seen, right? By her friends, and supposed to be family members. And the whole hour later, when they were covering up the crime and make sure the crime was seen, Kenneka was in play. Now all of a sudden, an hour later, they got the best friend playing her in the kitchen with staff members. And then when they place her in the freezer and all of this shit, that's how they narrative come. If it weren't for Zaria, they would have never had this narrative. If she would have never agreed with Kenneka, playing Kenneka on that, it would have never been. She was last seen on the 9th floor. Kenneka was very disoriented and in dire need. What time is supposed to be? At Tucson. So, booyah. So you would look at the best friend would be coming out the room at Tucson drunk. And impaired, because everybody said she didn't drink no more. Bree said she didn't drink. Her own family member said she didn't drink. Only person said one cup was too much for her is Miss Teresa. She never said Kenneka didn't drink no more. Why everybody say Kenneka don't like popping pills and all this and she didn't drink no more, but Miss Teresa, like, man, one cup is just too much for her. Not one time she said, my dog don't drink no more. You know what I'm saying? That just say like Trey ain't on crack and never smoked crack before. And they saying we found crack in this system. What? Wait a minute. So they falsified the report that she had drugs in her system. This was a straight up murder. You see what I'm saying? So they fabricated the whole autopsy report just to fit the narrative surrounding the best friend. That's why the best friend got so much clout now. That's why the best friend ended up doing celebrity hurls and all of this old shit. Cause she gained more than anybody else. Look. So once you see through all the lies in the cover up, 3:20, the police will be conducting an investigation in the morning, not 3 p.m. Not 3 p.m. And then look, at 10 p.m., an unemployed, boy, wait till I break all of this shit down. That's why Miss Teresa had a problem with Gina McGill. Cause everybody knows Miss Teresa do not like Gina McGill. Now you see why. If you take this letter, I believe it's the truth in this letter because it got Macho name in it. Gina McGill was the only person that mentioned brought Macho to the light. if we would have never known nothing about Macho, we would have never be reading this shit. But if this was at 2:30, look at this. If this was at 1:30 or 2:30, cause it's all gonna match up. If this at 1:30, you got Kenneka meeting up with the security, she gonna be drunk. Boom, boom, boom. Then the fight broke out. Bam, he slammed her down in the cooler. He even said this shit started in the cooler and they finna place her in the freezer, meaning they took her out the cooler to another part of the kitchen where the freezer was. So boom. Did you listen to this real carefully?
Why or how Kenneka was not identified or found wandering in the Crown Plaza Hotel on the early morning hours of September 9th. Why and how, although video surveillance cameras clearly indicate that Kenneka was wandering into an area under construction that had a operating walk-in freezer and cooler, and why and how, in spite of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel from the moment she disappeared until the moment
that she made it there and the moment she disappeared again.
Why and how, in spite of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel from the moment she disappeared until the moment her body was found, almost a full.
Hi, y'all. So boom, Mr. Teresa showed up at that motherfucker at 2. Look, he said the family and friend were notified. So at Tucson. So this let you know everybody was notified at Tucson. They already had her for an hour. So when they reported her missing, it gave them another hour. So guess what they did in the meantime, between time, in my Kilo Brown voice, Kenneka would be leaving out the room last seen by her friend, which did would be the best friend. The best friend would be playing her walking down hall. That's why you see multiple notifications. Did we all see that on the footage? Multiple notifications from the front desk. Boom. 2:30. Security have knowledge and knew it was too many people in the room where Kenneka believed it to be. You know what I'm talking about? With smoke detectors and all this. So everybody would be in the room. And certain people would be in the kitchen with Kenneka staging the crime scene. Boom. They knew they had knowledge of endangerment. Individuals in the room. You know what I'm saying? And the defendant knew or had some reason. Watch what they said. They said that the defendant shortly after. Defendant, who is the defendant? Miss Teresa had reasons to know that. How would Miss Teresa know that her dog was already missing at Tucson and already contacting the staff member and security? That's why the lawyer said this.
Why and how, in spite of the fact that Kenneka's family and friends were at the hotel from the moment she disappeared until the moment her body was found, almost a full day later, more than a full day later. Why this tragedy unfolded. Kenneka, as you know, came to the hotel as a guest in the early morning hours of September the 9th. She apparently was intoxicated and wandered from the room and wandered throughout the hotel. Video surveillance at the hotel clearly shows Kenneka wandering throughout the hotel at approximately.
So what he did was went on the Zaria store, because that's the only thing they got working for them. When Miss Teresa agreed that's her daughter on the footage, they gave them the power to say that she roamed the halls. And that girl never roamed those halls, bruh. That girl never roamed those halls. We saw that girl come in the front door and possibly the back door. So he knew all the only tragic thing is about this, that what the family did to that girl. And the tragic part is about it, they all played victim to us. And they couldn't even play that right, because everybody pointing the fingers at these about Miss Teresa, man, I want to grieve for you, but man, some of the things that you said, I'll never forget. You know what I'm saying? Nora, you already looked guilty from the beginning. When the news asked you, you the last one contact your sister at one song. Then the brother out the picture, disappeared. The brother ain't even at the protest. You don't even see the brother, you know what I'm saying? None of all the best friend. You didn't even see the best friend at the protest. Whoa! But you got Monique out there flashing sign. They make sure they got that all that on camera. Everybody at the protest, Monique the best friend. I got to talk to Monique. Then when you look at P. Rico, right? Monique tell us what happened. You the last one. They was just to put everything on Monique. Monique was a motherfucking pawn that had something to do with it, bruh. Look.
Approximately 3:30, and I'm not being exact. Video surveillance shows her entering a kitchen area that's under construction.
Now watch this. Now if you go back to this footage, everything what he's saying, finna confirm it. Everybody know what's on this footage. Everybody already know, like, man, look, that's how the coffee cup finna get in the kitchen. Cause once you watch him and watch him with the timestamp, this at 2 in the morning. This is exactly 2 in the morning. If they finna place her in the freezer at 2 some, and this where the coffee cup finna come in there, how y'all in his hand? In his hand. That what got me started on the Kenneka Jenkins case. Cause I want to know who left the coffee cup. You see what I'm saying? That was the biggest thing when it came to who left that coffee cup. It was the employee in there. That's who leave that coffee cup. Him. 2. Watch this. You see how the time skip? Now y'all see how the time skip? It skipped from 2 all the way up to 3:27. It skipped an hour. Now you see why it was skip an hour. Because all of this was going on at 2 some. That time better skip if you trying to cover this up. That's covering up for Miss Teresa too at the same time, won't it, man? At 2 some. So that would be one of the main reasons why all those time was skipping in the kitchen at 2 something. Hallways 2 some. Cause that's when Miss Teresa will be roaming the hall with those staff members. Even if you snuck in that motherfucker, you still got to go to the kitchen. That camera still gonna have to skip. So I just proved damn the time skipping that 2 song. That when Miss Teresa will be talking to security, talking about check those cameras. They could be walking down the hallway together. You check that camera and pointing out camera. What's on that camera? What that camera showed? There you go. Zaria was working with Nora and Miss Teresa. Zaria was working with Nora and Miss Teresa. Miss Teresa, that's why Miss Teresa never cried and showed no emotion. She ain't just had no bond with Kenneka really like that. See, it sounded like she had more bond with Zaria than Kenneka. Cause goddamn it, she cried over Zaria about to break. But when it come to Kenneka, man, that lady got an angry look on her face. I'm like, damn, did you really hate your daughter, goddamn? A lot of people do hate their own fucking kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna tell you, but they'll treat you like a black sheep. If they treat you like a black sheep, bro, in the family, bro, they folk really don't like you, bro. That's why they treat you the way they treat you. Like, damn, why me? You know what I'm saying? I be trying to be cool with the family, you know, but they turn up when you try to be cool with them. You know what I'm saying? It's always some bullshit, right? Because you the black sheep, they don't fuck with you, bro. They don't like you. You know what I'm talking about? So, when the lawyer was saying all this, look what this sound like now.
Brothers Caddyshack. The walk-in freezer and refrigerator were obviously unlocked.
So while you got them in here talking about it, that's when the police will be in the freezer taking photos, and that's why they will be talking in here, staying off the fucking camera. And you got a motherfucking $1 million lawyer made the wrong decision and keep the lie going like you would never get exposed. Man, these people really think they so intelligent that they can tell us a lie that we'll never figure it out, bro. That's crazy.
At some point, Kenneka walked into the freezer, the door closed behind her, and over a period of hours, she froze to death. What's very concerning is that we have evidence.
What evidence he said he had? Watch this. Guess what evidence he said he had?
That at some point, because she was clearly on video surveillance, at some point that somebody secured the doors to the kitchen area and to the freezer compartment where she died.
So what the video evidence will show you? If you go to this, look, watch this. If they got some valid video footage of showing how she got in the freezer, look what this footage finna show. Watch this. Hold on, let me rewind it. Watch this. Just check him out. They say they got video evidence somebody secured the freezer. Watch who was securing the freezer and turned the motherfucker on. And look what time this shit gonna be showing. Ain't this at 3 some? Look, they coming out the kitchen. This at 3:27, 3. Look, 3:27, 3:28. And that's who would count Kenneka money. While her pocket would turn in and out. So who you think they would secure the kitchen by their conversation alone? Cause that's what he finna go back to. Watch this shit. Look, watch this, boom! Your proof right there.
At some point, because she was clearly on video surveillance, at some point that somebody...
So look, if he say you clearly got her on surveillance camera at the same time, these people securing the kitchen, that means the best friend will be in the kitchen with the employees. Y'all remember when they tried to say Kenneka was walking past hotel employees. Y'all remember that? That she gonna be on surveillance cameras. Look, where she paying several hotel employees. If that's not Kenneka, that means that would be the friend in this kitchen at one time in the kitchen. And guess what time? He going into the kitchen, and that's where the coffee cup come in at. Payao. 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 That's why they never released the video of showing Kenneka walking by employee, because he's going to show the best friend and they can't sell it. It's too much light in the kitchen, bro. You see what I'm saying? Look what time this is. 2 hours off the footage. This at 1:29. Ain't they finna show this at 1:32? Payao. Look at this shit, bruh. Look. 1:29 and you got this 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later. So he gonna be in the kitchen. He gonna be in the kitchen. The best friend gonna be in the kitchen. Kenneka gonna be in the cooler. Man, the only thing they did, they had the friends and the family to kill her. The hotel didn't kill her, bruh. The hotel allowed them to kill Kenneka because it finna benefit them through the kidney thing. The organ harvesting. They ain't finna kill her. So when they came out with the video, they was in there a party, and so they could have a reason to say it was drugs involved. Everybody was doing drugs. Somebody slipped the Mickey in her drink, and she had so much to drink that she walked down. And don't no teenager goddamn it get drunk and walk in the freezer. Know what I'm talking about? But look, before they get drunk and pass out, motherfuckers finna act a fool first. And make fun of themselves or talk some shit or be the life of the party before a motherfucker pass out, bro. So when I watch that footage, when I watch that whole 36 hour footage, cause all these timestamps stuck with me. Cause I'm like, man, look. When I try to go on the footage, it look like if you don't tap in with the timestamp, you go with what they gave you. This would look like what Mitchell Reese want everybody look like. Everybody roaming the hall between 3 and 4 looking for Kenneka. So it means they were roaming the hotel for an hour before they decided to call Mitchell Reese and say, bring me my car. And she made it up there around about 5 some. They would show her that she wouldn't have nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? That she would be perfectly innocent. But if you knock 2 hours off of it, it showed you that Mitchell Reese was got a lot to do with it, and it showed that she lied. And then showed the real reason why she lied, because she didn't want nobody to know that she was there at 2 some. Arguing with the staff, police, and shit got so hyped till they had to decide, well, look, we're gonna say she walked in that motherfucker at 3 some. Easy. Look what's on the footage. You got the coffee cup talking about how to cut the freeze off, and the police in that motherfucker. This will be going on at 3 something in the morning. And remind y'all, even Miss Teresa said on the 911 call, I got the call at 3 something in the morning. What? 3 something in the morning? But when you recount your story, now you got the call at 4:34? Stop. And then look, that's why he would be crying, Cause look what time this is now. This is exactly 2:30. So that's when Miss Teresa gonna be up there with security and talking to security and the staff. And you got the maintenance man on the move. Look what they would be doing. 2:36. Everything you see in the freezer came out this room when it came to the black tape. That's why he grabbed a more cup. Come on, man, you ain't drinking that much coffee. Boom, look. Now this at 2 something in the morning. Look what the paperwork saying. At 2 something in the morning, bam. So this when the best friend would be busting a move then. Playing Kenneka in the hallway. And Miss Teresa watching that camera. Talking about, yeah, I want to know what's on the camera. She could be directing the motherfucker.
Secured the doors to the kitchen area and to the freezer compartment where she died. These photographs, first of all, show.
And that's the cooler. Kenneka gonna check this out. This cooler though that y'all see, it's the cooler though on this side. Right here. This the cooler though. This what the man said Kenneka gonna be in. So this the real cooler that Kenneka was in. And they had to, hold on. It's a camera right above that cooler. So we gotta change it to this freezer because it's out of view and had the best friend to go back there. Hi y'all. And look what time she would be doing this shit. At 1. This could be actually the real time. And at 3:32. At 3:32. That's why Miss Teresa said it was a camera above that freezer. See, we're talking about this cooler right here where he finna point out. Matter of fact, check this out. You see that cooler though right there? Guess where you finna find this cooler though at?
This is the construction site into the kitchen. And this was taken after her body.
Let me go to Greg here.
If you know TV, you have YouTube TV. Join millions.
And then you'll see her come.
Boo, y'all! This door right here. This where he pointing the door at, bruh. Here go the camera right here that would have shown Kenneka coming in here and how she ended up here. Not there.
Come through the upper kitchen. And then she walks by the camera. Okay, and right here. She walks back in this area. I think she went back to that other cooler first. Okay, then she came back.
Hold up. Where that John at? I got to find that John. See the original video. Here we go. There go the freezer though. There go the freezer though the lawyer was talking about. That's the freezer though. So you got a camera that will watch how she would have got into this freezer. Like what they were saying, we was up in the coolers. We was smoking up in the coolers. Cause nobody ain't smoking in the freezer. So this was actually a cooler that Kenneka was left in, bruh. Right here. Till they move her to her. That's why Miss Teresa said it's a camera above the freezer. And the camera above the freezer is this camera. They cropped it out. That's the code, man. Them folk cropped it out, bruh. And showed the best friend going back there. Since you got the best friend go back, you can make it whatever you want to look like. Make it look like somebody reaching her. Because if you believe somebody reaching and somebody actually back her, we'll be lost. Because that never happened. That never happened. We were wasting our time thinking somebody was grabbing and touching that girl, bro, and dragging her back here. This the cooler. This the cooler what the lawyer said. That's the cooler right there. A camera would have showed you this shit. This camera would have showed you that. Right here. If they would have cropped it out, this is what you would be seeing on the footage. Not that. So when Miss Teresa told the world it was a camera above the freezer, she was snitching on them. Until at some point they told her what it was. And they cropped that side out, and she had to agree that's Kenneka walking towards the freezer. And that's why nobody never believed that was Kenneka. You know what I'm saying? Walking back there, bruh. And the whole time, this camera was showing murder how she would have got in there. That's why they cropped it out, because they don't want you to see it. That's crazy, bruh. So look, I had a person, when I was cooking in this Kenneka Jenkins case, I had a person told me and said, Trey Gang, the story was made up. How they said, let me go to my community wall. Because I got it on my community wall. Look how Miss Teresa, look how she promoting all this shit, bruh. Let me go to my community wall right quick. I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. Look what Miss Teresa said. Believe whatever y'all want. Kenneka is my daughter. I told the world about her, and I told everything I know. I did not learn nothing new. Yes, I was tricked thinking them people really was on my side. No. Y'all was cool with all, everybody was cool on the setup till y'all had a fallout. And they tricked your motherfucking ass. You thought they was on your side. Nah, they ain't gonna be on your side. You telling everybody it's a camera above the freezer? Hell no. Then look at this shit. If you go look at this, the thought of a murder, this the same lady stay in the neighborhood with Miss Teresa. And then look, if you go back to this name, guess who this is? That's the cold part about this shit, bruh. When I look this name up, I'm like, man, this shit got so scary. But I'm like, man, damn, this shit need to be exposed. Nobody don't want to look that name up. If you don't look that name up, you will never know. Bam, watch this. Look, when we went to the meeting, she had to tell everybody when she went to the meeting. She would have saw this firsthand. At some point, Kenneka made it out of Crown Plaza doors. One of our favorite questions, how did the hell she got back in the Crown Plaza? Where are the footage? And we saw her get out the... That's crazy. We see the girl on the lobby leaving at the hotel with a dude. Since we don't got the parking lot footage, this how the lady could play her plan done. Like, yeah, what old footage at? Hold up. I told y'all, I said, man, y'all, these people on the government watch list. Nobody don't want to look. Nobody don't want to believe what I be telling everybody. Hold on, let me go find that post. So it makes sense when I was like, man, look, the police would be in the kitchen. Coming out the kitchen at 2 some in the morning. It makes sense. And you got the police chief at that motherfucker. You go to Sousa, earn Miss Teresa out about the money. Hold on, what that post said? Hold on, I don't think I shared that many. Oh man, they trying to. Hold on, y'all. I got to read what that post said. Hold on, watch this. This criminating right here. I remember when y'all told me before they found Kenneka's body, can nobody say they put something in Kenneka's drink because she only had 1 cup. Also, that young man from the party called me after my life and told me as they was walking to the room, you said Neek in there. And he said, so what? That's my fucking cousin. Why you telling me that? And guess what time this is gonna be? 2:34. Shit. She should have never made these poses. She was so mad with Rosemont because Rosemont getting away with the cover up. But she getting away with the cover up too though. So why is you complaining? It's helping you out in the long run. So now I see why you had to sue these people, bruh. You had to get your money that way. So 4:34 is at 2-something in the morning. That's why she said neek in there. Neek in where? Where would she would be at 2-something? Shit. Then you got a cousin up there? That's my cousin. Why the fuck you telling me that? He ain't concerned about Kenneka. The mama ain't concerned. It's like they trying to scare Monifa. Yeah, I'm gonna put this out there. So boom, this when Miss Teresa would be talking to the staff member. They all would be in the freezer with her at 2-something in the morning. Hold up. So
police came because you were going through the whole.
They came to arrest us. We K-9s.
So did they arrest you?
No, they asked me what was going on. They have no clue that a young girl even came up missing.
See that? That's why the hotel and them wanted. You could tell the hotel cut Miss Teresa and them ass off, bruh. They cut them folks ass off like, man, look, you done set up here and told the world it's a camera above that motherfucking freezer and you talking specifically timestamp. I don't care if we agree to knock the timestamp off 2 hours, but never mention the timestamp. Don't talk about the timestamp, because them words can come back and use that against you. So according to the law, you settle for neglect of the hotel because their kitchen was unsafe and had hazard condition. So that means the lawsuit was never about the Kenneka Jenkins. They got a name on there because of the cover up what they done pulled off the murder at. So what she had to do is sue the hotel because they didn't have locks on the freezer. They had faded stickers down there. That sound like a person mad. Like, man, what you think? You finna just give me $10,000? Nah, I want $1 million. Nah, matter of fact, I want 50 mil. What you talking about, Mitchell Reese? Now, fuck this shit. I'm getting a lawyer. And the police get mad at motherfucker. This the first time we ever had to deal with a fucking attorney. Why she would say that shit, bruh? It was never an accident. Look, check this out. Look. Circuit court. Look what they suing. Look what they suing about. They suing for neglect. All this neglect about the kitchen. They just use a Kenneka name. So it can make it look like there was a lawsuit, Mitch Teresa trying to, you know what I'm saying, sue this hotel because they just use this girl name because they know it wasn't an accident. Ain't nothing accident about this. They need it's a murder. A murder happened at the hotel. Everybody is in on this. So they were doing deals up on the table. At some point in time, they fell out between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody gonna be arguing with each other on what the camera showed. So guess what the camera gonna show? You know what the camera gonna show. So now, boom. Once you think about that, right? Once you go back to Mitch Teresa in the lawsuit, they got Kenneka name all over this just because they fabricated a narrative trying to say she walked to the freezer instead of telling everybody it was a murder and they placed her in the freezer. We guilty and we need to go to jail and do the rest of our life in jail. No, they're gonna use her story and say it's an accident, but They're gonna use the story as an accident and have us thrown off, like focus on, well, this ain't no accident, this was a murder, and they were just to entertain for the lawsuit. Cause the lawsuit really just look, neglect. Count one. Neglect. Liabilities. That's count one. Look what she's suing about. Failed to secure areas. Should have been closed off to the public. They had poor maintenance. All the warning signs of danger, cautions, tickets faded. This is not about no girl in the freezer and trying to find out what happened to her. Look. And she's suing for pain, suffering. All of this. This is what she gonna get money for. For the pain and suffering over a murder that happened, and they ruled it as an accident, and she had to go and get this. She had to file a lawsuit to order get this money, bruh. Count two. Neglect. I don't see nothing about Kenneka Jenkins when it comes to the canal, because all this about the hotel, Caddyshack, how everything was fucked up in there. You see what I'm saying? But they're going to start off with the story about Kenneka, make you think this lawsuit was really about Kenneka, but it was about the money. It was about the money. Look. Look at this shit. Turning fees, all these damages. Look, count three. Neglect again. I ain't never read nothing about no wrongful death. This supposed to be a wrongful death lawsuit, right? Look how much money you would have got if you would have filed for a wrongful death, then filed on top of this. Man, you would have had down that Bill Gates money. You see what I'm saying? Man, you would have had Bill Gates money. This just show you it was a cover-up, bruh. Look, all this was just about neglect. Incompetent security. Look. Hold up. All this shit is about neglect. No wrongful death. Count five, a breach of contract, third party. Whoa! A breach of contract? Let's see what a security enter into a contract with Crown Plaza and the security service and all patient time coherent and all this old shit will provide services for maintenance. Look at all this shit, bruh. If you read this, you'll be like, man, look, all this shit, bruh. Count six. What? I'm trying to see what a wrongful death lawsuit is. Because that's what you supposed to file, a wrongful death, right? So that means she was murdered. You can't file on a wrongful death if everybody knew there was a murder. But you can file if this kitchen unsafe. Look. Man, I had to go back and read all of this, and I'm like, wait a minute. You can just ball this shit up. So look, it telling you Miss Teresa showed up at the hotel. It all show you a setup. It finna show you a setup. Look, Circle, what they suing for? Dorothy Brown, circuit court clerk. She the judge, and she's so corrupt. Watch this. No wrongful death. Complaints and demand for trial and the jury to be what? Because of the kitchen didn't have padlocks on it. Shit. Now look at this show. Watch this. Now you finna understand this footage from this time frame. All right, hold up. Knock 2 hours off of 9:46. What this is? 10:30. What? 10:30, 10:33, 10:36. What? 10:44. Look who in the lobby with them, in the hallway with them. Bam. What? 10:50. 10:55. 10:53. Whoa. Is that 11? Whoa, is that 11:05? Bam. 11:05, 11:05, 11:06, 11:07. Bam, look who all showing up. Don't this sound like everybody finna be in play before this girl arrived there? It sounds like you got everybody finna be making her before she get there. Everybody finna be in place. Look at this shit. 11:11. Keep this in mind, Mr. Reese said, I know I last saw her leave the house at 11:30. She said 11:30. So look what 11:30 would be. Kenneka would be coming in the hotel. Allegedly at 11. So why would they come in and walk up the ramp if they ain't never been there? This was strange. But they ain't strange no more if they regular there. Boom, 113. That's why you never saw a face on. You would never see Kenneka's face on this camera. This could be anybody on the camera. Look how big those shoulders is. Look how big those shoulders is. Boom. Look, 11:13. Who would be back in the kitchen at 11:13? Hold up. Bam. Look. 11:14, no Kenneka, but you got Bree in there. Where Kenneka and Irene? I mean, where Kenneka, Shamaya, and Monifa at? They supposed to be on this camera at 114, but they only see one. Cause guess what? Everybody know Kenneka was snatching that lobby at some point in time. You know what I'm saying? There you go, Goddess. Because that's what I found out. All Kenneka friend was a Zaria friend. All Zaria, them niggas, them Zaria hanging with them niggas. Zaria one with gang now. You see what I'm saying? Kenneka was hanging with family members that's in the gang. But you know what I'm saying? But when Zaria her best friend, boy, shit. It's probably how they met. Cause y'all know Mitch Teresa and Zaria mama, they do know each other. They try to act like they just really don't know each other like that. They really gonna be like, yeah, you know, my daughter used to be at your house. Yeah, girl, my daughter used to be at your house too, playing that old funk ass role. But you got Mitch Teresa talking about her daughter used to stay with her. Why her daughter wasn't staying with her mama? Why her daughter will be leaving out her house to move with you then, Mitch Teresa? And start doing her at your house. You see what I'm saying? Look, Kenneka was friends with Shamaya and Monifa. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But you wouldn't really want to know what I think what their real relationship was. I really believe that they just really weren't friends like that. They just be at the house all the time. Them just motherfuckers, they going running away and shit and staying with Miss Teresa. And you know, Kenneka gonna bond with them. You know, they in the house eating up all the food, so you know they gonna be friends. So you know they gonna be on, you know what I'm saying, Facebook and all that old shit. Look, at 11 some. Set up exposed. Boom. Here go the dude that Gina McGee was talking about. can you go look this man, Jeff GIFFIRAHISOEABCDEFG? That's him. That's him will be meeting up with Bree. That's who Jenna McGill said he friends with Jane Coleman. He worked security. He works security. This who Gina McGill was talking about to Zach TV when on that Twitter account. How was her hair? Once you go back to his Twitter account, he the one that had the Mona Lisa and shared it. But check this out. On his Twitter account, he had French K picture on his account. Look. 11:24. Who would have Miss Teresa car keys at this point? I thought there was Kenneka in the trash bag. But this still could be Kenneka cause since they be playing with the timestamp so much, I won't even be surprised if it was at 2 or 3. Cause I gotta realize she's still gonna be in the pool area, right? So look, that's why you would have all these bastards coming in before Kenneka. This is set up. Everybody coming in to set the girl up. This is what everybody here for her. That's why you got the Susu, family, security, macho, on the move, and then boom. Once it gets down to one song where everybody gets settled down and make sure everything's straight. Look, Susu, boom, family member come in, boo leave. Bam, all this at 12:30. All this at 12:30. Bam. And guess what you finna see at one song? Look. Guess what you finna see at one song? Bam. Bam, bam, wham. Kenneka. Kenneka. That's why the police had this circle and this circle. Because I was like, well, why would this be an investigation then if y'all saying this ain't Kenneka? But if I read the other report, y'all saying this is Kenneka. So it's two paperwork saying that's Kenneka and the next paperwork saying that is Kenneka. Check this out. Callie, you want to know why? Have you noticed when everybody was trying to go on Kenneka Facebook page, a lot of posts were deleted? I'm gonna ask you a question. From what we finding out, what would be the reason for them to delete posts before her death and after her death? Just regular posts. Give me an answer on that, and I'm going to tell you what my answer is. It's only one reason. Why would you delete old posts that's years old, months old before her death, and everybody else's page get deactivated in the same time frame? And guess who would have control over the phone and would be deleting the posts and will upload Monifa and Shemaya old videos and making it look like these were recent videos of Kenneka real friends? I'm going to tell you the reason why, since you ain't answer my question, Callie. Because of the best friend. If you got the best friend that's on Kenneka Facebook page, they take pictures and all of this together. You see what I'm saying? You don't want nobody to see those pictures. Cause guess what? You will find out Monifa wasn't the best friend. It was Azaria the whole time. Get rid of those pictures. Cause you don't want nobody to recognize and get a good look at her and start looking on that footage, be like, oh, that is her best friend playing her. That's why they were trolling us, King Rob, them. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, You see what I'm saying? Azaria. You got to remove a lot of posts. Check this out. Don't this make sense? You got to remove Zaria from the best friend category. Now you got to upload on Kenneka phone old videos of Shamaya, Irene now, making it look like they hang with each other every day. You see what I'm saying? And guess who was doing it? Miss Teresa. Living over them, because they've been doing it throughout the years. So look, since I put it all together now I see why when I would start mentioning Zaria name before the bitch died, you know what I'm saying? Kept her name in my mouth. I'm like, y'all, I never forget Zaria, that fucking ass bitch. That motherfucker had my whole group fucked up. I got every reason to hate this bitch. But when the bitch died, that's the first thing that on the title. Kenneka best friend. Why they didn't have that title in the beginning? And kept it that way, bruh. Because when I first seen the video, they said best friend set best friend up to get raped. And they had to change it around. And that's when Monique and them had uploaded the video again. On their page, and made it look like this is what it read. Monifa, Irene tagged Monifa in the live video. Man, them folks thought we was so dumb till they told us a dumbass lie. They told us a lie because they like, man, these folks that dumb. We're going to give them that dumbass shit what they want to hear. So they gave it to us and we heard this shit. But they ain't like, we can't snap at this shit. Oh, we told them this so they'll be in conspiracy mode. Not no more. Not no more in one song. Not no more in one song. And check this out. We got a whole lot of footage to watch. Because I'm going to go live again. And guess what we're going to have to watch? The 36-hour footage. And I'm out, gang. Trey gang, love y'all, man. Y'all be cool. Y'all be safe. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, gang. And keep that girl name alive. And let's put these family members on blast. The police department, the government, the United. Check this out. Don't you know Miss Teresa got family? That's Merles. Trustees. You didn't know that, did it? Don't you know Miss Teresa got family members, bruh, that own real estate? I mean, some real estate, bruh. Y'all be cool and y'all be safe, and I'll be back